Today what I'd like to share with you is my assessment binder. This is where I collect and put all of the assessments that I create or use throughout the school year. It is somewhat flexible, dependent upon student need and also students that are needing some acceleration or extension. Over here in the left pocket, this always helps me with my planning and to make sure that I'm meeting all of my objectives and putting it in a kid-friendly term. I have changed this standard into an I can or a student objective statement. And this helps me to focus on maybe creating questions or creating a assessment practice that will help prepare them for the final assessment. Then on the first page, this is my 5th grade reading curriculum map. This helps map out the entire year. You can see that I have August, and then it goes all the way through December. And you can see that I have different columns. I have the unit, when I'm teaching that unit, the essential standards that are being taught, the many lessons and objectives that are being taught during that unit, the support text or materials, and then any other resources like websites, technology devices, and other things that will help them to be successful in that unit. And you can see at the beginning of the school year that it's pretty nice, neat, and even, but then you can see that it starts to stagger into October. Unit 2 goes from October down into December. Then, after my unit curriculum map, and I just refer to that every once in a while to make sure that I'm on target for getting through the content and material and at a good pace for my students. The next page is my assessment table of contents. You can see that I have about 5 units for my school year, and then I also have my assessment calendar. I just wanted to align my curriculum with my assessments, so I am remembering that I have an assessment coming up or what I need to prepare them for next. This is something that I'm working on with my students on collecting their own data, and this is their table of contents that goes into their readers' notebooks, and I'm helping them set SMART goals, helping them chart and graph their data on like their AIMSweb or their MAPS assessment, using I can standards checklists after each unit showing that I can do this objective or I am still needing to work on this new objective. And then also graphing and keeping track of their own Think Central formative assessments as well. I've also included in my curriculum assessment book the unit as well, just so that I'm mindful of what standards I am expecting as essential and what standards I'm supporting, reviewing, or pre-teaching. And this is my first formative assessment. I like to put the objectives that I'm teaching with that unit and which ones I'm checking for mastery. And my system is set up to be pretty cyclical. I will do 4 to 5 weeks of formative assessments, and those are weekly. And then we move into a summative and performance assessment using a novel or an extended text. I've found that using a basal, it's great for isolated skill, but using in context can become a little difficult. This next part is still part of Unit 1, but it's now put into a novel, and they're having to master the standard that was being taught previously in context. So typically I choose novels and texts that are in their interest level, reading ability level, and multiple different reading text complexities. You can see with this unit they're reading Frindle, School Story, Landry News, and Jake Drake Bully Buster, all by Andrew Clements. This is a realistic fiction author study that they are doing. This is my observational data or anecdotal data that I use, and I'm able to write down notes and observations to help me keep track of mastery of concepts taught in the novel as well. Like I said before, this is their I can checklist, and at the end of the unit they'll be able to say, yes, I can do this standard, or yes, I can't, I still need to work on it. And this is their performance assessment. They're creating a book cover using these different activities, and they are aligned to the standard, and they're having to perform or create the standard. And then just a few more assessment pieces, like with fluency assessment that I do. This goes along with readability levels, their fluency data tracking, and then it moves into Unit 2. So that's a sneak peek into my curriculum portfolio or curriculum notebook, and just another way to help keep me organized.